Hi, Brian White filling in for Buck Lavasser. Welcome to Discovering. You know, living here in the Upper Peninsula, we're all influenced in one way or another by the outdoors. It's simply part of who we are. But with each passing generation, we seem to lose a little bit of that connection to the electronic world. Tonight, we'll take a look at a few events that are working to change that.
We learned today all about nature, how to canoe, how to bike ride. We learned a lot of stuff, and my favorite part was canoeing.
That's all tonight on Discovering.
The secret streams that flow beneath the cliffs of colored stone, forest thick and healthy with birch and pine and oak, surrounded by the greatest lakes this world has ever known. The black bear's awesome presence as he roams the hills and fields, call of the timber wolf, the loon's lonesome trill, the eagle soaring high above, the trout lies deep and still. These are what I treasure, the only way I measure feelings that I have for this fine land. There is so much to discover when you're a long-time lover of northern Michigan.
You haven't tried yet?
No, you tried it.
Do I have bobbers? Yes, sir, I do. You do? Oh, good.
Can I have a bobber, please?
Visit nearly any home in the UP and you're pretty certain to find a handful of fishing poles hanging on the garage wall and some camo in the closet. Somewhere along the way, for one reason or another, we got interested in the outdoors. For many of us, it was automatic. The outdoors is all we had. That's no longer the case. The ever-changing world offers up a wealth of hard-to-resist artificial influences to occupy our time and our minds. The outdoors has now been replaced by the indoors. Kids still have the same need for excitement and entertainment as we did when we were young. In much the same way that we couldn't wait to get outside, start the day, and discover something new, kids now can't wait to get in the chair, start the next game, and discover the next level. Kids haven't necessarily changed, their environment has. It's indeed a huge problem, but the solution is simple. The outdoors is still there, and it always will be. All it takes is a slight push in the right direction.
Well, this is our 22nd annual Kids Fishing Day, and for 22 years we've been pulling this event off, and probably the most impressive part about Kids Fishing Day is that it has now become generational. And there are many parents that come up to us now and they tell us about how they used to come to Kids Fishing Day when they were kids, and they're now bringing their own kids to Kids Fishing Day and teaching them about the sport of fishing and to enjoy the sport of fishing. So it's a great family event, a lot of free food, raffle prizes, the kids have a blast, and we have as much fun as they do. We average about 300 kids a year. We have all kinds of activities as part of Kids Fishing Day. Every kid that comes gets a free goodie bag. We have a lot of fishing tackle donated by manufacturers that goes in the goodie bag, and this year we had enough donations so that every kid got a Kids Fishing Day t-shirt when they showed up. We have free food, abundant raffle prizes. I think we had pretty close to 200 raffle prizes this year. There's a beautiful swimming beach. We have 2 trout ponds. Again, the trout are donated by the Michigan DNR. New this year was Coastie from the Coast Guard Auxiliary. That was a big hit with the kids. We have a fishing pier that many of the kids, especially the ones that are too old to fish at the fishing ponds, bring their own fishing poles and tackle boxes and they go and fish on the fishing pier. And the casting contest too, there's divided into 2 different age groups. Everybody recognizes that kids spend a lot of time indoors now, which we didn't do back when we were kids, and we're trying very hard to get kids engaged in the outdoors again because it's good for them. We're seeing an increase in obesity. It's good to get the kids active in the outdoors, and we want to create tomorrow's conservation leaders as well. And we couldn't be doing it without all the help of the many different sponsors, volunteers make it possible. We've got many generous donors that provide us money to buy the raffle prizes, to get the food. Wildlife Unlimited of Delta County and the Michigan DNR, who provide the trout for the trout ponds. Beta Knot Great Lakes Sports Fishermen.
Getting the kids out of the house and getting them outdoors and giving them fishing poles and stuff, and kind of teaching them how to fish and enjoyment of it. That's our big thing, that we have to get these kids out. It's so important to introduce them to the outdoor sports, not structured sports, but just let them go out on their own and go fishing and have some fun with it.
Well, we're here today for the Tom Vatsky Memorial Fishing Derby, which is put on by the Gladstone Masons in cooperation with the Delta Masons. We've done it now for the past 15 years. It was actually, Tom Vatsky was one of our founding members, started way back when. We lost Tom, unfortunately, about 2 years ago. And this is a memorial to him. We have a great turnout every year, as we do again this year, good sunny day. Basically, we work to do this for the kids. We work to give back to the kids. Every child will walk away with a nice Zebco fishing pole and tackle box. And on top of that, we've got additional things like chairs and tents, sleeping bags, sports balls. Like I said, everybody will walk away with one, if not more, gifts. So we're pretty excited about that. And that's thanks to the very gracious donors. Like I said, we probably had about 50, 60 donors this year. We're very happy with, and we'll be sure to be mentioning it during our award ceremony. So the community can, if they're in their business, they can definitely thank them, because without them, we wouldn't be able to make this happen. That and our volunteers, local Masonic brothers and friends and family that have came out to help us today. It's all been volunteer staff, so we're very gracious for that as well.
I just got done fixing my fishing pole. Now I'm back going fishing. Had to redo this.
We've got the Delta County Search and Rescue here. We've got the Gladstone Police, Gladstone Fire Department. Let the kids see all the great equipment that's utilized. We also have the Michigan DNR here as well, with a conservation officer to keep kids informed. We're actually here today in the city of Gladstone in Van Cleef Park, fishing in the harbor and out on the point. We're very gracious for the city of Gladstone helping us. They've not only provided some supplies, but along with some workers and obviously the usage of their park. So it's been, we're very gracious, and we've been able to do that the last couple of years. So the city of Gladstone has been very good to us.
I already caught one, but it got loose. I got it up. About 3 inches.
As far as our groups, we're dividing them up into age groups. There's 4 groups in actually 5 different fishing areas that we're going to rotate every 45 minutes. So during our event, we actually have individual prizes for the biggest fish caught, most inches, and then the most inches for the day during our 45-minute interval. So at the end of the day, all of our group leaders will tally that up, and we'll be able to identify those individuals, and they'll even get an additional prize or award on top of what they're already getting. So,
Was it fun?
Yes.
Yes. Think that might be the winner today?
Huh?
as far as the kids fishing, I guess there's nothing more rewarding than seeing the smiles on their faces, no matter what the age is, when they catch that first fish for the day. And everybody gets to have it marked no matter what size it is. So, you know, it's always a great thing for them.
7.5. Right. It's a big one. Cool.
Whoa! No, Rose, that was originally mine. Hold up.
The girl's not creepy. Take it off and let it go.
I love this thing.
We love having them out here. We love seeing the sportsmanship and all the excitement of the little guys, all the way from ages 4 all the way up to 14. So it's great. Again, it gets it out. It's a good family event, good family fun, and gets them out from behind that TV.
I was back in the Hiawatha National Forest for the extremely successful program known as Kids in the Woods. Once a week for 8 weeks during the summer, 50 or so kids ages 5 to 12 jump on a bus and head to a Forest Service or DNR recreation site to learn about and experience the outdoors.
Well, when we talked about the ingredients of fire, what do you think happens if you take away one of them? Today we're out at Camp 7. Brought the kids from Elger County out here, and basically we're having them doing some kayaking and some mountain biking. We also did a Leave No Trace program, like a fire teaching program where I taught them how to build a fire and kind of the safety of rules of fire and the benefits and some negatives of fire. And also we're doing some fishing too as well.
So the reason that we have Kids in the Woods is to try and get kids unplugged from their Game Boys and their Xboxes and get them back in the outdoors, like we were when we were younger. The nature, there's a line now, they say the nature of childhood has changed. There isn't any nature in it anymore, and that's what we're trying to fix.
Now we're going to talk a little bit about fire. So, does anybody know anything about fire at all? What do you know?
I know something about fire.
You do?
Yes. You will get burned by it.
You can, yeah. What about you? The fire program for the Kids in the Woods that we did today was kind of just building an awareness of how to be safe around a fire. I also kind of wanted to teach the kids more about like some of how fire can affect the environment. You guys notice how I built the fire? What did I put on the bottom? I put some of these pine needles and the birch bark. And we had Smokey Bear come interact with the kids so they can help them remember the rules that Smokey gave them about the fire building. That wind comes from the Great Lakes. I also kind of talked about how some species of trees like the jack pine rely on fire in order to spread their seeds and reproduce, and the kids seem to really enjoy it.
Don't miss the Woodtick Music Festival in Hermansville, Michigan. 4 days of great bluegrass, country, folk, blues, and rock and roll. Over 25 bands, fun for the entire family. Carry-ins welcome kids 12 and under free. Buy your tickets and campsites and find out everything you need to know online at woodtickfestival.com. That's woodtickfestival.com. The Woodtick Music Festival in Hermansville, Michigan.
Basically, we want to familiarize the kids with kayaking and give them a little bit of instruction. We go over a lot of safety things first and what gear to wear, a little bit about the different gear we use. We spend some time going over different paddle strokes with them to give them the real basics and how to sit in the kayak and some of the concepts of staying upright and not going in the water. And then getting them in the kayaks and just getting them comfortable with being out there and doing, having control of their boat. We start out by going through some basic paddle strokes, the forward stroke, back stroke, how to turn, how to stop. And it's surprising that basic stuff really, makes them more comfortable. A lot of times kids start out and they're very apprehensive about even being in the boat, but by the end, a lot of times they feel pretty good. That's a pretty neat thing to see. And then we go paddle around and kind of give them a feel for the beauty of kayaking, which with the older kids, we go for a pretty long paddle. And then with the younger kids, it's a little more about just getting in the boat, being able to move it around and not tip each other over or yourself over and going down the lake a little ways. A lot of these kids, even though they live in small towns, they don't necessarily get a chance to really get out in the woods and do this. And it's pretty neat because in previous years we've had kids that get their parents out. Once they get into kayaking, they get their parents out to try it, and then they get into the sport. And getting it, be exposed to it, they're not afraid of it. Because a lot of kids are actually afraid of water or afraid of getting in the boat and just being in there. But once they do it, they get more comfortable with it. And again, a lot of times they'll get their parents out to do it and encourage them to actually get out into the woods more, out onto the streams and the lakes. So I think it really does. It's a really great program to help facilitate that.
Today I had the group of kids teaching them how to fish. We also learned how to make a basic fish knot to tie hooks, so that helps Dad out when he's out taking the kids out. Some of the kids learned how to tie a bowline to tie their boats up, things we did in between before we went fishing. They learned to bait a hook. Some of them were working on casting. We actually did catch one nice fish. One of the girls caught it, and they were pretty excited about that.
Did you cast it up, or did you just leave it down? Oh,
that's a bass.
Why did you swallow it? You don't always swallow it unless you feel a sharp thing.
The pier that we have here, they got one at Cowell Lake and Pete's Lake and here at Camp 7. And sometimes the fish hang around under the docks and stuff like that. And so it's easy to get the kids out here to fish where we don't have to have a boat out on the lake. They can also do the shoreline at some of these lakes too, so that's really nice for the kids too.
Who wants my grub?
I don't think. Surprisingly enough, a lot of these kids have not fished. Some of the younger ones have, and a lot of the girls were pretty knowledgeable today. on how they, in fact, they picked up on the knot tying and stuff quite a bit quicker.
I got a stick. Biggest catch!
You know, it's nice to get the kids out this opportunity to get out on these nice lakes and with this pier and stuff, and it's a pretty inexpensive thing to pick up, hobby to pick up. Nice to see them get off the couch and out into the outdoors. So, you know, I think it's a good learning experience for the kids.
We are going to be riding partway through the park, and then we are going to go through and onto a trail. And the trail is going to be native vegetation. It's not going to be paved. It's not going to be gravel. It's going to be grass and sand. So we, different age groups will take the younger kids on more of the paved trail, more accessible trail. We take the older groups and we do the Van Winkle Trail, which is about a mile long. It goes more through the woods, a little bit more challenging. We'll stop and do some viewing. Watch out for roots here!
Out at the at Van Winkle Lake, and today the kids, a lot of kids for the first time saw a pair of swans with 3 babies, and they all get pretty excited about that. So it's a good thing for the kids. A lot of the kids don't ride other than on their sidewalks where they live or on gravel. So it's a new adventure for a lot of the kids with riding on dirt trails.
So today with Kids in the Woods, we had the groups come out and I was the Leave No Trace instructor. And we spent time picturing our favorite places and we got to draw them out. And then we learned how to pack a backpack for the day hike and things that should be in our backpacks and things that shouldn't.
Now, can someone find something that we should bring? What should we bring?
Flashlight.
A flashlight?
In case it gets dark.
Okay, that's a good idea. Let's put it in my pack.
And then we went on a hike today and we got to pick up a lot of trash and observe the nature. And then we came back and we looked at all the trash we picked up and we put years to them to see how long they would take to decompose. And a lot of people were surprised how long styrofoam cups will stay there, up to 1,000,000 years. So now you know.
A map, why is that? Do I really need a map in the forest?
Yes.
Why?
Because you can look.
This is true.
They've done an extensive amount of research, and what they found is that kids that spend time outdoors tend to be more social. They tend to spend more time with their friends. They're more engaged. Being outdoors helps address attention deficit disorder. It helps the kids stay active, which addresses the issue of obesity. Michigan is the 5th most obese state in the entire country. So that's one of the reasons that we put the kids in the kayaks and on the mountain bikes to get them exercising. We need to get them feeling strongly and passionately and develop this connection with their public lands, because someday we're not going to be here managing these lands anymore, and we need to nurture and raise these kids so that they can be our next generation of conservationists, so they can care for and manage these public lands for their kids.
That's extremely important for me, especially to bring them out while they're still young so they can still learn all this stuff. And then they can go out with their parents more often, and you know, they can kind of extend on what we're showing them, or they can even maybe teach their parents something about being outdoors instead of being inside all the time and kind of cooped up. It just gets them out at a young age so they can grow up and learn to appreciate nature. That's kind of what the whole program is about, is teaching these kids and to be active outdoors and to learn to appreciate and pass along that appreciation of nature.
You know, a lot of these kids hopefully will be leaders in the future and get them interested in the outdoors.
But I think the program really enhances their being comfortable in the woods and finding out it's a lot of fun. They don't have to sit at home and do video games all the time to have fun. So I think it really encourages them and their whole family to get out.
Yeah, it's very important, I think, to get the kids out at this age, to teach them, you know, it's a skill that here they could use the rest of their life. You know, not only the exercise, they learn something, even the fishing as a survival thing or whatever, and it gets them off the couch, it gets them outside, it's a program they get into, and it's something they learn for the rest of their life, and the memories. You know, they can go back, yeah, we used to fish here, we used to do this and used to do that, you know, and it's very important that they get involved in these things.
Super important to get kids out in the woods early. My family did it when I was a kid, and it just teaches kids to learn to love nature and really value it, because I feel like a lot of our younger generations are losing that bridge between nature, and I want to make sure that this is around for years to come, so might as well have them start young.
There's so many good reasons to get kids outdoors. Being in the woods is a great way to spend time together as a family. And I guess the one other thing I would say that most affects me when I'm out with the kids is seeing the self-confidence in the kids grow. That can happen in so many different arenas, but to see it out here and see them develop their abilities and their self-confidence, it's just very makes you feel good.
What'd you learn today and what'd you do today?
We picked up trash. It's all smoky too.
Oh yeah? What do you look like?
He looked like brown color.
Colored?
We learned how to kayak and we learned how to not leave trails behind, and we went fishing. We got to make a fire and see Smokey and pick up trash and fish and kayak. Kayaking. I love the kayaking. I learned how to kayak better.
Today was really exciting. Our whole class got learned tons of things. We even learned about how fires could happen.
I had fun going bike riding. I had fun going kayaking.
I liked kayaking today and riding the bikes.
I liked fishing and kayaking. Canoeing and bike riding.
Yeah?
Our favorite part was when we went biking and canoeing and fishing. It's kayaking. Oh, and kayaking. I'll be right back. We're gonna be on channel 6. We got to go on the kayaks, and it was really fun. And it was really fun because we got to go on the path and pick up garbage and learn how to not litter and color what's our favorite place outside. And the kayaking was really fun. We learned how to kayak, I learned how to go backwards, frontwards, sideways. I learned how to fish. I learned how to fish.